Mark, just as you sit there now and think back to your debut for the club and all the days you've lived and breathed it since, can you quite imagine that you'd ever be in this situation?
Did I imagine it? Yes. Did I think it would happen? Probably no. This season for me, after it announcing that this would be my last, has been pretty special. But as I keep saying, it's not over yet. We've got an incredible game tomorrow night, and then we've got a bigger game probably in a week's time. And to be able to enjoy that with the West Ham fans, with the players that have got us into this position and the staff, and I'm not talking about just the playing staff, I'm talking about the whole staff at this place and at the stadium. Incredible achievement and something that we're all really looking forward to.
Been involved in so many different teams. What makes this group of players so special? Why have you all managed to get to where you are?
I think sometimes you get an incredible mix of talent, hard work, honesty, a group of players that have got no egos and work for each other, a manager that doesn't let anything slide, that demands hard work, and has put a philosophy in place at the football club now that if you don't work hard, you don't play. And I think we've seen that in the last 18 months or 2 years since he's been back, and that's worked. But we've also got some very, very good players that help out along the way, and as I said, a real credit to the players that's got us into this position.
Moose?
Hi Mark, how are you?
Moose? Yeah, I'm good. You?
Yeah, good, thank you. How do you stop yourself getting ahead of yourself in terms of the fact that you must have had a dream or a vision of your final appearance in a West Ham shirt, maybe holding aloft the European trophy?
For myself, probably I wouldn't be disrespectful to a club like Frankfurt. Fantastic football club. Any team that goes and beats Barcelona, you need to respect. So probably that. I would be lying, and I think any player in the world lies when they say they don't think about it, because the thought of lifting the Europa League Cup at the end of this incredible season would be dream come true stuff. But if you say you don't think about it, people lie, because you do. But yeah, did I think I'd be in this position at the end of this season? No. I knew we had a great squad. I knew we had an honest squad, and I believed that we could do something special. But a semi-final, and not only that, but the cup games that we've had, Man City at home to win on penalties, and then Manchester United away to beat them. We've had some great cup experiences, but this one obviously now is tops everything.
You can't win the tie tomorrow night, but you could lose it. That's the mindset all managers and players always go into the first leg of a two-legged tie. So how do you go about making sure that the latter doesn't happen?
I think if you look at it like how we've looked at every game this season, going into every game with no detail overlooked from the opposition. I think the way the manager approaches every game is the same. We've looked at Frankfurt for this since we've played Chelsea on Sunday. We'll look at them again probably in the morning, and obviously get ready for the game. But I'm pretty sure with the atmosphere tomorrow night and the team that we've got, we'll be in the game for when we go to Frankfurt. I'd be very surprised if we wasn't. But you've got to treat every team with respect, because they are a good side, and we know that, and you don't get to this position without being a good team.
Last one from me. I was obviously your testimonial, that amazing day up to Park. You've had some amazing days. You've had some not so good days, having to come out after that Burnley game and basically talk on.
We actually flew to Miami the next day, so it weren't too bad.
At the end of the season, you're retiring. If West Ham won the Europa League and got in the Champions League, are you a man for changing your mind, or as Mrs. Thatcher once said, you're not for turning?
Moose, let me just, because I've been asked this question so many times now by so many different people, and the reason we would get into the Champions League is obviously winning the Europa League. So winning the Europa League and lifting the trophy, would I come back? No, and that's my honest answer. To end on that would be pretty special. So I was joking with the lads the other day saying if that did happen, I'd happily come and watch the Champions League games with the Europa League trophy on the next chair, and hoping they do great in the Champions League. But that is way down the line now. So it is concentrating on tomorrow night.
Good luck.
Thank you.
If we can just pass the mic to the front here.
Sorry.
Thank you. BBC.
Mark, hello there. Jamie Reid from the BBC. You've had a very long and distinguished career. Just where does this moment rank?
Do you know what? In different aspects and different moments that I've had, probably one of the most important, because you've got to remember in different stages is getting promotion to the Premier League is so important. Staying in the Premier League is so important. But for pure enjoyment and the atmosphere, Seville would be hard to beat, I must admit, at home I'm saying. But tomorrow night will be pretty special, and I don't think I've ever looked forward to a game so much in my career than tomorrow night, because it's the last game I will be involved in Europe, for sure. And to be able to celebrate that and an occasion like this in a semi-final with my own fans is pretty special.
You've played for a number of managers and you seem to really enjoy playing under David Moyes. What has he brought to the role?
Honesty. That's one thing he doesn't lack in, if I'm honest with you. If you're not doing it, he will tell you. And that's whether it's me, Deck, or any other player in the squad. And that's what I think footballers in the long run respect. That you, whether you get on with a manager or not, if they're honest with you, you respect that. So an organisation of a team, and obviously the last couple of years since he's been back, I haven't played as much as I've done in the past, purely because, probably I'm getting older, and there's a central midfield player come through into the academy that's probably one of the best in the world at the minute. So there's a few reasons, but my relationship with the boss has not changed, and we talk about the team and we talk about football on a regular occasion. And obviously it's partly my job as well to stop things getting to his office, because he's got a massive football club to manage and a lot of players to manage. So as a captain, it's my job to, how do I say, to tidy up the rubbish before it gets to him.
And just finally, one quick question. I mean, there must be genuine belief with what you've done so far in this competition. I know you won't want to build it up too much, but you can do it, can't you?
Do I think it's possible? Yes. It's going to be tough. We know that, because all the three other teams in this situation will be thinking the same. And as I said, I would never be disrespectful to Frankfurt and say that we're going to go there and win or we're going to beat them, because I wouldn't do that. Do I believe we can win? Yes. Do I believe if we play to how I know we can play, with the resilience and attacking play and defending as a team, I think we can. And I think with the fans behind us tomorrow night, the fans that will travel to Frankfurt. I have crossed my fingers since we beat Lyon. Yes. Thank you.
Hi, Mark. You'll have your own very significant place in the history of this club, whatever happens come the end of the season. But the further you've gone in this competition, there have been more pieces with the players from the 70s and the European Cup winners from the 60s. The next few weeks are a chance for yourself, but everyone else to sort of join them, aren't they, in the club's history?
If we win it, yes. I don't think no one will care if we don't. As I said, I've given my life from 11 years of age to this football club, through the good times, through the bad times, as Moose clearly pointed out. There has been some tough times, but the one mainstay for the last 18, 19 years has been myself, obviously. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I've played under 9 or 10 different managers and obviously accumulated the amount of games that I have. But yeah, I think winning the competition would be life changing for all these players, not just myself, and also for a club and a fan base that's really stuck with their team and stayed loyal, and we get 60,000 every week now. I don't even say about the away games because we sell them out every week as well. So it would be a really good payback for them, because we have had some tough times, and these are the good times, and you've got to enjoy them.
Have you been surprised? When you look back at even the squad when the manager came back, have you been surprised by how quickly the transformation has happened, or is it something you always felt that, with your experience of this club, that potential was there if somebody pointed it in the right direction?
Yeah, I think, as I said before, I think once you get players that come into the squad, and sometimes you just have it clicks, and you have a group of players that work fantastically together. You have 3 or 4 really special players that we've got in the team, and you have people like, I don't know, I'm sure he won't mind him saying, people like Craig Dawson that come to West Ham. We had obviously Kurt and Angelo that were doing great. You get a few injuries, and Dawson's been phenomenal for us for the last for this season. So you need stuff like that, and you need players like that are going to pull up their socks and lace their boots up and play for you no matter what. And I think we've got a lot of them players. And that's why we've been successful this year.
And just finally, you've spoken about you won't come back for this Champions League football. Have you even had time to think about what might lay ahead beyond this summer?
Yeah, obviously, when you wind down on your career, and the one positive I've had is that it's actually been ramping up for us instead of winding down. We've been away in Europe. Obviously, we've had the cup games. I've played in a few Premier League games and been involved in a lot more, as in from the substitute bench. So, for me, I ain't really had a chance to think about it. I think everyone knows my affiliation with West Ham. My son's in the academy. I know the staff from top to bottom. I know the academy players, most of them, nearly all of them by name. My affiliation with this club will always be strong. The gaffer's made it clear to me that he wants me here, but I do owe it to my family and my kids to go away in the summer and have a holiday, because they haven't seen me for the last 20 years. I've got a bit part play in their holidays, so I will take some well-earned rest, hopefully as a winner, and then see where we go from there. Thank you.
Hi Mark, you were in tears after the Sevilla game on the pitch, and it looked like you were after the Lyon game in the dressing room as well. What was going through your mind in those moments?
Good question. I'm quite an emotional person anyway. It's the way I am. I think you've seen it all before. Early in my career, when I cried against Spurs when we lost against them. I think it's just the thrill of I've fought so hard for this club for the last 18, 19 years, and when you have feelings and emotions like that, because I know personally how much it means to the West Ham faithful. Someone like myself, that wherever I go in well, I say in the world, but here especially, whether it's into a coffee shop or go and watch my son play or go and watch my daughter play netball or go to a restaurant with a wife, I end up talking about West Ham within 5 minutes. So I know how much it means to the people. There's been times where we ain't doing so well and I don't even want to get out of the car and put petrol in my car because I know the geezer's a West Ham fan behind the pump. So that's things like that happen. But the emotion comes deep within knowing that probably a little bit that it's my last season as a West Ham player, and just that it's such a nice feeling to actually win and be successful.
Mark, have you actually been able to enjoy these moments, considering you made the decision, your mind's made up, or is it actually making you more nervous because you know the games are slipping away?
No, quite the opposite actually. I've actually enjoyed it because I've got, but we have got a group of players in the dressing room that the fans believe in, that I believe in. So obviously I don't play as much anymore, but I can sit there on the bench and be quite excited what's going to happen in that 90 minutes. Be quite excited to go away to Lyon and away to Seville and put in good performances. I've been lucky enough that the manager's trusted me to put me on in these games and with 20 minutes to go or half hour to go and be a part of it. But for me, it's been really enjoyable. It really has. Busy because everyone knows I'm finishing and these guys want loads of me all the time. But it's been really enjoyable. And what I would say is when you're not playing as much and you get a little bit older, you tend to appreciate football in a different way. Because normally you win a game and 20 minutes after you won, you go in, you celebrate with the players, and then you think, oh, we've got to win Saturday because otherwise this is going to happen. But this year I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and as I said, 3 weeks to go, but there's so much going to happen in these 3 weeks.
And what are you like on the bench? Are you a shouter? Are you a nervous twitcher?
I've got Kev Nolan next to me. He does all the shouting. No, not really. To be honest, I look at football in a complete different way now. There's times where the manager asks me what I think during the game and at half time. I speak to the players. But you've got to remember as well, which I have to remind myself that I'm there obviously if the manager needs me, and he has needed me in a lot of games this year, so I've got to be ready to play, and that was my main focus this year.
And just finally, the Frankfurt fans are a noisy bunch, but do you think even they'll be surprised at the atmosphere that is now being created at the London Stadium? Because I think the last few European games at home, it's almost felt like a European stadium, just the amount of noise that's been brought. Do you think even they'll be surprised?
Yeah, I hope so. I think the Frankfurt fans are a fantastic bunch of fans. I think we've gathered that, especially in the games they've played in Europe over the last few years. But I think we'd all admit that the London Stadium now is for us has turned into a fantastic place to play, and I think the fans have finally sort of appreciated how good it has been. And we all knew it was going to be tough moving. I think everyone knew that, and it has took a bit of time for it to gel. But and you need massive nights like we've had this year to sort of cement that home turf, and the games in Europe this season especially have done that, and the boys are so excited for tomorrow night.
Hi, Mark. Since we are talking about your career, I might as well ask you. Troy Deeney has said in his book that he felt or he thinks you should have played for England, and we're talking about the end of your career. Has that kept you awake at night at some point?
No, a lot more stuff's kept me awake at night than that, to be honest. But look, listen, I think the captains during COVID, that everything we've done together sort of pulled together in that time, and obviously earned a lot of money for charity, and they was fantastic. All the captains were, and Troy was one of them. I said on Rio Ferdinand's podcast lately that am I gutted I never had an England cap? Of course, every young English player would be, but the way I look at it is I've had a fantastic career plan for the club that I supported as a kid, captain the club that I supported. There's many West Ham fans. I'm pretty sure every single West Ham fan would want to do that, and I was lucky enough to do that. But also, I've had I say a much better career. That's the wrong wording, but I've had there's players that have had England caps that have not had the career I've had in the Premier League. So, and they thoroughly probably deserved them at the time. But what I will say is I don't regret it one bit. I've been lucky enough to live a dream of mine that to captain and play for this football club, and so it hasn't kept me awake at night. No.
Gary?
Can I ask you just one though? Obviously, you're the link to the past. So, how much do the guys in the dressing room ask you about the kind of past, and who's going to be the one that sort of almost takes on that mantle when you step down to kind of explain the importance of the club, which you can do?
Good question, actually. We've got some. I've sort of my time at West Ham. What I've tried to do is to keep the players and the staff at the football club as close as possible. Because speaking to other players and staff members that have come here from other football clubs and staff members that have left to go to other football clubs, what we probably lack in facilities-wise, if I'm honest, we gain in a culture at the football club of the groundsman, the security boys, the kitchen staff, being so close together, and that's one of my biggest things that I wanted, because it's not the players in the kits that just win you the football matches. It's the people here behind the scenes, and I think the young boys coming through now, like if I haven't been to a game, an away game, Adji, the 23's captain, or any of the young boys clean the change room. I don't ask them to do that, but they know that's the culture that I've set, and not only that, now the staff do it also. So I'm hoping that once I leave that carries on, and I'm pretty sure the young boys will do that.
Last couple now, one from the back.
Hi Mark, you're right. I just want to quickly ask about Declan Rice and your relationship like with Dec on and off the pitch, and obviously as well, not only just as a player but as a captain, because these big games need big players and big performances.
To keep it short and sweet, because obviously I get asked about Dec probably 20 times a day. The one thing I will say, Dec's a better person than he is a player, and we all know how good Dec is. He's probably one of the best in the world at the minute, and he's got a fantastic family. He loves his football. As a captain, he's made my job a lot easier. He's made my position a lot easier. I said the other day to someone that, you know, when you're a senior pro and a young player comes in and I say takes your place in the team, you could probably become a bit bitter over that. But for me, with Dec, it's completely different, because he come into the team as a 17-year-old. Well, he trained with us as a 16-year-old kid, and from early, I knew that he was going to be a top player. He's actually better than what I ever thought he was going to be, if I'm honest with you. He's grown, he's matured as a leader, and I think that we'd all agree at some point he will probably captain England, and I would be very surprised if he didn't. That's how highly I think of him.
Mark, as a follow-up question, how much does it surprise you that pundits or fans of other teams still doubt Declan Rice's ability?
My answer with that was obviously they haven't watched our games enough, and also they haven't seen him train as a professional and as a player. If you ask any pro, that you realise how good someone is when you train with them and you play with them yourself. So, look, social media at times can run wild, and everyone has an opinion, whether that's good or bad. So, I think his performances, especially after the Euros, where he was great. For me, he was the best player on the pitch in the final for 70 minutes. I'm not being biased. I truly believe that. And he's one of the only players to come out of that Euro and perform the way he has done. There's probably only been 2 or 3 of them that have come out, and Dec found his feet early, and he's dragged his team to the position we're probably in now. So he's always going to have doubters. I tell him that all the time. He's always going to have people give him stick because of the position he's in. But he is a true credit to our academy, bringing him through, but also to England, and we should cherish players like that.
I know you said when you retire, your plans to have a nice family vacation in the summer. But about 18 months ago, one of your former teammates, Bobby Zamora, he said he'd like to see you have maybe a sporting director role. I was wondering for you, in terms of all the skills you have, is that something that maybe appeals to you?
Look, listen, does it appeal to me? Yes. But because of the way the season's gone, I haven't really had time to think about it. I speak to the manager constantly about the season, the games, what I'm going to do after. And we've both agreed that we will talk about it when we get a chance, really, because you've got to remember he's a manager and he's got a team to think about, and he's got big games to think about, and so have I. I've still got a dressing room I need to look after, and when the time's right, I'm pretty sure we'll have a chat. But I think any of the staff at West Ham will tell you that I've got a big influence on a lot that goes on here with the players and with the staff and the club, and I just want things done right, and I think the manager appreciates that.
A last question for me, Mark. You mentioned earlier about sweeping the dressing room, because after the win against Leon, the social media team posted a picture of you sweeping, and it got a nice reaction.
It's Pritchard.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just wondering, is there... I don't think you said it, yeah? No. I'm just wondering, is there a backstory behind this sweeping the dressing room?
Yes, there is, actually. I'm glad you asked. One of my friends is the chief executive of Sheffield United, and we played Sheffield away years ago, and I left my wedding ring in the dressing room, and I was seeing him after, and I said, I've got to go back to the dressing room and pick up my ring. And when I went back there, our dressing room was a disgrace, and it really hurt me. So from that day on, I said that will never happen again as long as I'm here. And yeah, I believe when we was kids, we used to do it. Academy players and players coming into the first team wasn't allowed to leave until everything was done in the dressing room. So yeah, from that moment on, I said that won't happen again, because it doesn't reflect the football club that I want this to be.
Okay, final question from the back, please.
Yeah, hi Mark. It's coming up to the 30th anniversary of the Premier League. I just wondered if you had a favourite moment.
On behalf of me or just the Premier League?
Either.
Favourite moment? Good question, actually. Do you know what? I don't think you can look past the Aguero moment, can you? With the commentary and putting West Ham to the side, and me being involved in the Premier League. I think that moment there was pretty special, and it will get replayed. And Martin Tyler, was it? The commentary was phenomenal. I've known him for a long, long time. He'd done a lot of our England games as a kid, and he's a great guy, and that moment will live on forever.
And what about with you and West Ham?
For me, without a shadow of doubt, the last ever game at the Bowling against Manchester United, to win the way we did, the atmosphere was phenomenal. And to be able to be a part of that history myself as captain and lead the team out. When you think about it, I used to crawl under the barriers of Upton Park and sneak in because we couldn't afford tickets, and then finally signed in the academy and used to get 2 for free, so I didn't have to do that anymore. And then to lead the team out at that last game was pretty special.